I've been trying to do a better job of taking my own notes, and I read my notes afterwards, and they're mostly nothing to do with the episode at all. I wrote insightful things like Antifa Snoopy. Antifa Snoopy. Which I think was just an errant thought, completely unrelated. And then I also wrote, I'm gonna I'm gonna turn the Great Gatsby into the Late Gatsby.
They do that in The Great Gatsby.
That's true.
They very much do kill the Gatsby.
Welcome to the show about the show, the podcast. This is episode 443. My name is Will, known to scientists as Slimy Rat Bastard Americanus. Do not feed. Joining me as always is Ben, who unfortunately is dead. Dead tired. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
And of course, Atticus is here, the handsomest boy I've ever known. Hi, Atticus.
Hello.
To further confuse our audience in regards to just how many of us on this show are related and in which ways, we are very excited to welcome Elijah Wolter to the show today.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. Eli is one of my oldest friends, probably the smartest guy I know, and my brother-in-law. He also is another version of the same kind of guy as us. You know, we get a lot of comments that like, why do you all look like this? And it's again this experiment gone wrong. The machine rumbled in the corner of the room that we all stepped out of a little bit earlier, and he's here to hang out with us today. This is a show currently about Twin Peaks. Today we're talking about episode 20, aka the 13th episode of season 2, called Checkmate. We also have a Patreon where we release a bonus hangout show every week. It's over at patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. All right, gang, how big would an owl have to be to cloud your mind and memory? Discuss.
I think it might be action-based. Like, what is the owl doing?
That
Moonwalking could be pretty small.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that would definitely absorb most of my attention. Who's doing something crazy like that?
I think a tiny owl might cloud my memory more.
I'd say any owl
Fair
that
enough.
hits a freeze frame would be enough to throw me for a loop.
That must have been what happened with Briggs, because, well, yeah, he forgot everything else except for the one disturbing image, that being the owl. And Cooper's first question was, wait, how big was it? And it was apparently enough to cloud my mind and memory. Nice. All right,
No further
Elijah, what is
questions?
your relationship to Twin Peaks? Right, good hosting right here. Right as you take a sip of water. Sorry for that. What's your relationship with Twin Peaks? Are you a super fan, casual fan? What's going on?
I've seen it all. I enjoy it a lot. I like David Lynch. I like Mark Frost as well, but I don't know what else he's done, to be honest. But yeah, I watched it, I don't know, in high school or college, and then watched The Return and was like, wow, I gotta keep watching it over and over. I think it's a great show.
Okay, so is this kind of like in a rotation for you then? Are you kind of always in the mood, or like could throw on an episode?
I think it's a very seasonal show. Along with the X-Files, it's one of my classic autumn shows, I'd say. Maybe just because they filmed it in the Pacific Northwest. It really
No, I totally agree
strikes
with
a
you.
fancy.
I think that it's yeah. There's something about, I mean, we talk a lot about it on the show, but the outfits especially is very like autumnal, and inspire a cozy vibe that very much seems apace with autumn. So are you a Twin Peaks completionist? Like, how much of outside of the show have you strayed? Have you get into the Secret Diary or the sorry, what's it called? Like Laura's Diary, and then the Secret History of Twin Peaks.
I've not
The missing pieces.
I've not engaged with the literature outside of it being cited on fandom.com articles.
Sure.
I'll have some questions, and I gotta find some answers, and usually can, but I have not committed that deeply.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much where the rest of us are too. And I've been kind of wondering how deep we should dive. It seems like it's probably very rewarding to get into the extended Twin Peaks universe or the literature that surrounds it, because there's stuff to learn about the show and stuff to take from it. Maybe it's just I'm just lazy or something, but kind of like just doing the main stuff and letting my mind go where it will, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. What drew you to this episode to come on to talk to us about?
Really the opening scene was the main. This is one of my favorite opening scenes. I'm a big Don S. Davis fan, and this is, I think, like just his both like the cinematography of it, the very like bizarre Ken Russell sort of, the logo, and then the flames, and then the weird throne in the very verdant dreamscape. And then I think his acting in that initial scene is just really good. He's a very imposing guy. He's sort of typecast as like the military man with the heart of gold. He's Scully's dad in the X-Files, and then
is he really?
And
wow.
then Stargate SG-1. He's a general as well. So yeah, he's usually pretty imposing, but I think he does a great job in this initial bit of just seeming very, very broken. Even more so than like when we see him at the end of the last episode. He's really shriveled up.
Yeah. He hits a switch up in the middle of a line that had my jaw on the floor. It was where he seems to be caught between something. I don't know what. But he is trying to explain what happened to Cooper, and then has this moment where he breaks off and seems to be communicating with something, or he like received extra information from somewhere, and there's that switch where he goes like, does this pertain to my soul? That like, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. That is quite an impressive opening scene and performance from Don Davis. So you mentioned the X-Files, mentioned Stargate. Final question for you before we get into the actual episode here. What is an Elijah show? Like, you feel like you've seen a lot of 80s, 90s sci-fi style TV.
That would probably be, that's sort of the bulk of it. I'm a big Star Trek guy, but mostly like the 3 like 90s series I feel like I watch more than the rest of them. I just like seeing the same character actors show up in a variety of shows. So anytime there's stuff filmed in Vancouver, right up my alley. Or I guess this wasn't Vancouver, but you get a lot of the same people.
Sure.
Don Davis, also the final dog judge in Best in Show, because that was also filmed
oh my god
in Vancouver. Slightly different role for him, but he brings a sort of gravitas to that as well.
Sure. Oh man, I'm due for a Best in Show rewatch. All right.
Don S. Davis, I was reading his bio a little bit just now. He has a PhD, a master's and a PhD in theater.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Good for him. Do you think, does he do a lot of stage productions then? I guess that's not what that necessarily means, but
I'm not sure. And it seems like he had those credentials before he got into
before he peaked.
TV. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool.
Nice. So yeah, this is season 2, episode 13, aka episode 20. This aired January 19th, 1991. It was directed by Todd Holland and written by Harley Payton. And Ben is gonna go ahead and read the Log Lady intro and the summary.
My husband died in a fire. No one can know my sorrow. My love is gone, yet I feel him near me. Sometimes I can almost see him. At night when the wind blows, I think of what he might have been. Again, I wonder why. When I see a fire, I feel my anger rising. This was not a friendly fire. This was not a forest fire. It was a fire in the woods. This is all I am permitted to say.
Eli, are you watching with the Log Lady intros?
I do not. I have a version I downloaded many years ago that is missing them. So
Yeah, those were only added for the DVD releases later on in the 90s, and I specifically had to seek them out for myself. But yeah, this Log Lady intro is a lot more personal than normal. We get some Log Lady lore, some Lanternman lore, and I think the last 2 lines of that intro are particularly important. There's the distinction between a forest fire and a fire in the woods, and she's saying that her husband died in a fire in the woods, which is a forest fire would be like natural, presumably, right? Or quotidian in some respect, and the fire in the woods is something else. It's something like otherworldly, it seems. And the Log Lady herself is this person who's, I feel like she and Major Briggs are similar people, in that I don't know how I guess I don't know how either of them wound up where they are. Reminder, I haven't seen this is as far as the end of the show that I've gotten, so I'm just speculating at this point. But she says, this is all I'm permitted to say. And of course we get the parallels to Major Briggs, and there's the Air Force people saying like that it's classified, this sort of supernaturalness or spirituality, whatever's happening. But it seems like, Major Briggs is well, they talk about his like natural attributes or something that prime him to be somebody who can work in this space a little bit. They talk about how smart he is, or like he's the best pilot, sort of thing. But I feel like he's like working towards trying to pierce this veil or get into the White Lodge or whatever this is. And I don't know if that's what's going on with the Log Lady. We just don't get as much information about her. But she is similarly, I think, if not a full foot in that door, at least like she's connected to that world, maybe through her log, elsewhere. But she lives out in the woods, and yeah, I mean, there seems to be some amount of stuff that she's holding back, literally she's not being permitted to say anything. But yeah, interesting intro.
All right. A mysterious object rotates out of a star field. Flames appear, and Major Briggs sits on a stone seat in the woods. He says he remembers stepping from the flames, a vague shape in the dark, then nothing else until he found himself at the 2-day-old campsite. The Major sits in the sheriff's conference room with Truman and Cooper. Dr. Hayward photographs the back of Briggs' neck. The Major also recalls seeing the image of a giant owl. Hayward displays the photograph, 3 triangular scars behind the Major's right ear. Major Briggs becomes very upset and wonders if his experience was meant for his soul.
At the risk of doing the we've only covered one other TV show on this show, and then being getting a lot of this other TV show vibes from this TV show, but kind of getting some Lost vibes from the opening there with Briggs on the chair on the throne. The leafiness reminds me of that old island we've come to know and love. And I feel like Briggs is kind of John Lockean in his kind of mysticism a bit. Like he's kind of he's all bald.
Will, explain to me the first shot. Check, I guess. It's digital, fully digital. Like Briggs himself seems to be digital, and then when they cut away from this very cool first shot, we're back to film, it seems.
Well, something I really like about 90s shows, and then their re-releases or their source releases, their remasters or whatever, is that for the most part, they're all filmed on, well, they're shot on film, and then they're doing some sort of probably digital effects at some point, and then it's maybe printed back to film or something. But regardless, there's it's sort of like when you watch an old Charlie Brown cartoon or something, and you can see which item he's going to pick up in the shot before he gets there. And the same start with for effects shots is the analogy here, because it's way lower resolution for whatever it was mastered in to do the effects, and then when they're just playing back the film, then it goes back into the full resolution. I guess I don't know exactly how they did the effects. I would assume it's some version of digital, but yeah, there's the low res version of it. I don't know if you're not saying Briggs was there's a digital double of him. It was just it was processed digitally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the logo or the symbol, the 3 triangles. What do we make of this?
Yeah. What do you guys think of this? Because it's at first blush, not the most. Doesn't seem like the most inspired, cool ass logo, cool ass icon, whatever in the show. But I don't know. Maybe there's more to it.
Well, I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made when I was watching True Detective season 1, where this first time that we saw that swirl, I went out and got that tattooed, and I went out and got the radiation symbol tattooed instantly as well. But yeah, it looks like radiation to me. Do they say radiation in the show, or am I making that up or adding that on?
Not yet. They don't.
Not yet. They don't. Okay.
I feel like in the return, I think it sort of sheds some light on what's going on there. But yeah, I think it is definitely. I was reading though, it's also the sigil of a certain demon. Let me try and find it.
Ah, rats. Let me call my laser guy. A sigil of a demon. That's kind of cool. There's if I'm remembering correctly, it's kind of when it comes onto the screen for us, it's almost, I wonder what point of view we're supposed to be experiencing in that moment. Is it supposed to be Briggs? Is it not? I don't know. But it's the treatment of it is, it's a little bit blurry. It's not like a sharp cornered triangle. There's a glow to it. And then when it's on his neck, how defined are those triangles? Are we ever getting a a sharp triangle, or is it all kind of blurry? Not that I don't think matters that much, but just the blurriness of it feels more radiation-y.
Yeah. It's well defined for a rash, you know?
Sure,
Yes,
right.
that
As
kind
far
of-
as supernatural
Maybe-
stars go, yeah, it's pretty sharp.
Yeah. Okay. When Cooper suggests she start at the beginning, the Major asks if they're familiar with Project Blue Book, the Air Force investigation into UFOs that ended in 1969. The Major says some continue the effort unofficially, both to examine the heavens and, as in Twin Peaks, the earth below. He says they are searching for a place called the White Lodge. They are interrupted by two MPs who, on the order of Colonel Riley, take the Major. As Cooper examines the photograph, a few drops of water drip onto it from the overhead sprinkler. In the sheriff's office, Denise urges Ernie to make a phone call.
Okay.
Cooper and
Let's talk about the rest of the scene. Sorry. I enjoyed Harry standing up for Briggs there, saying like, "No, you can't take him away. He's my friend."
I'd be interested what the actual jurisdiction there is. It's like, no, I am taking him. It seemed like would have been possible.
It's worth pushing back on, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like it's, raise the fight, make him prove it.
Truman's one of those like sheriff law type guys, you know? People, traveler, I can never remember, we talked about this so many times, traveler law, you know? And the one of
Sure, yeah.
alt American judicial system stuff. Perhaps the local sheriff is the most powerful lawman in all of the
I
United
always forget
States.
that's part of it. They're like, oh yeah,
Have they
actually,
established if he's an elected sheriff?
Aren't they all? Are they not all?
I don't think they all are.
he seems to be. I feel like nobody really has a problem with his sheriffing, in the town. So he would be if he wasn't. I forget what I was gonna say. But okay, the sprinkler that drips down onto the picture. I was trying to figure that out. Like, why did we get that? And so the last time we saw the sprinklers in action was when Leland was confessing and being possessed by Bob, and it was really coming to a head with old Leland Palmer, I guess. And my best guess here is like this is kind of it's sort of like I don't think it's directly Bob. I don't think it's like Bob like dripping like physically onto the paper or anything. But I think it's kind of like a reminder of Bob's presence or that whole situation before, like that's still happening. And like it's tied in with Bob, Leland, and Laura. That basically everybody has moved on from all of that at this point. James is the only one still carrying the torch for Laura. And he's
That's generous.
that's true. And he's not exactly anywhere to be seen for the town. But yeah, it seems like the town is completely moved by that. And so that's what I'm kind of getting from the sprinkler is that like there's still like a residue of the Bobness here. And Elijah, you said this scene was excellent. Very good vibes so far for the show. Very, very strong opening.
Absolutely.
In the sheriff's office, Denise urges Ernie to make a phone call. Cooper enters after his pride is challenged. Cooper enters, and after his pride is challenged, Ernie calls Jean Renault and tells him he has the out-of-town buyer. Andy enters the sheriff's station walks past Lucy and encounters Dick. Actually, let me pause. Do we want to talk about the Ernie Denise room first?
Yeah, briefly. I just want to say Denise's dress. It's a good dress. Outfit check.
Nice.
Ernie has like the opposite Prince Andrew problem, I suppose. The war made him sweat more.
He's attracted to adults.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about Ernie just as an entity in the show until I went back and I went a few episodes back before this one to watch, and I was like, oh yeah, he just sucks. He's not that good at what he does, and but you gotta have a guy like Ernie around.
Yeah, I think that I don't know how successful of a character he ends up being ultimately. It leads to my favorite is when he and Hank are interacting, I think. And Hank's like bullying him basically. Otherwise I feel like he's kind of like just treading water a little bit, or just he's taking up time a little bit. I'm not really he seems very nervous, he's very sweaty. He's a fellow hyperhidrosis king. We see you out there. It's fine if you're sweaty. But yeah, I don't know. He's also, I think he's the dumbest guy in the show. And this episode doesn't do too much to change that for me. All right, let's talk about Dick.
Maybe challenging your theory a little bit. Andy enters the sheriff's station, walks past Lucy, and encounters Dick, who tells him about visiting the Happy Helping Hand Adoption Agency to find that Nikki's records were sealed and returned to the orphanage. Andy and Dick plan a visit to the orphanage, and they leave. Lucy tells Cooper she has checked all the personal columns in national newspapers and found nothing that looked like a chess deal and no name like Wyndham Earl.
But thank you for the assignment, Cooper. Seems unfair.
Okay, Dick's sneak outfit. That's great.
The Dick Tracy Tremaine fit is incredible.
Yes. He's courage, Andrew. Do not despair, my dear boy. I love the team up here. Actually, it is kind of making some of the. I'm not the biggest hater of the Dick storyline. I know some people are really down on it, but I think that the payoff of them teaming up together is pretty awesome.
That's how I've resolved most of my love triangles, is bring in a possibly evil child.
Lucy has a good cardigan. Also want to get wool check on her. Good job, Lucy.
Would you guys know what to look for chess? I've been, in preparation for this part of the season, I've been trying to learn chess a little bit. To become a little bit better than, last time I played it when I was in like second grade. I don't know if I'd know what I was looking for.
I've had a chess.
Do you know that we
too.
have a chess champion on the call right now?
Really?
Yeah. I believe that's you, Atticus, isn't it?
Okay, I just didn't want to make sure Elijah hadn't won like something significant. That would have been really embarrassing.
Even higher.
No, but that's my favorite story. Is like you won the chess tournament in, what was it, like 5th grade?
Yeah.
And then the kid you beat totally freaked out.
Chess.
It was yelling, "I suck at chess," and making everybody feel bad for him. You're just like, I don't know, sorry, man. I was better at chess than you, dog.
This is like a public tournament at your school or something?
It's kind of a street thing, I think.
It was. I mean, it was like a tournament at the school, and then the final game was played like after mass. So like, it was bizarre.
Okay. Oh yeah. You guys did you go to Catholic school? Right? Or is this like a public school slash?
It was a public
with
school
masks.
mass.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a secular mass.
It was just as boring, but you also still go to hell. No, would I look for chess moves? I mean, I guess it's like letter
Yeah, it's
number.
got its own sort of notation.
I feel like you can do it in
style.
Sure.
I saw a recent, or I like watched a YouTube video recently about like the history of like chess notation, and it's like very controversial and like heated. So, I think there's like different
careful.
methods of doing it. So it might be easier to recognize if someone was saying like knight to e4 versus like p4 to e4, you know, something like that. I would recognize it easier if they were like really spelling it out.
They have like openings have special names and stuff like that, right? Like this is the Australian opening or something like that.
The nonce gambit. Like, you really want to try that? Like, when they're about to take my king, that's how I get out of. I've won most of my tournaments. Is just it's mostly trash talk when they're like lifting the rook to take my queen. I'm like, that's the classic nonce maneuver, and they're like, I can't do that. Guess I'll
Bit
just
of a nonce, eh?
Yeah. Oh, are you suggesting maybe Lucy doesn't know what to be looking for? Maybe
No,
she's
I'm
on the
suggesting-
other chess notation system.
Perhaps. I'm just suggesting. I like to put myself into the shoes of the characters, as we've discussed many times before, and yeah, I wouldn't be able to move this along. Not getting much from the summary on this one, but Ed drinks coffee at the Double R Diner. He passes a note to Norma saying, quote, "We need to talk." Any thoughts on this one?
He
Not
does
really.
do just that.
We'll
That's
get
a
more
very
of-
accurate summary of that
Yeah, yeah,
scene.
it's-
That is all that happens. in
What it
that
says on
scene,
the tin there. Yeah, I mean, we'll get more Ed and Norma later. That I'll reserve most of my spiel for.
Are we missing her walking past Hank and Hank being like going on an errand, or isn't that happen then, or is that later?
That
on?
happens later.
Okay, that may be all that happens then.
As Shelley feeds Leo, the introduction to Invitation to Love is heard, and Shelley complains that it was Bobby's turn to feed Leo, and Bobby claims he had baseball practice. He tells her...
Our national
completely
pastime.
He tells her he is not coming back, that he has better things to do than bathing Leo. Shelley slaps him, and
Like a
Bobby
winter
leaves.
sport, maybe?
What? Oh, like a different
Like a
sport?
winter sport? Something between football and baseball season?
Bobby's tall as hell. He should have hooped instead of pledging himself to Ben Horn. I love again just how Bobby dips in and out of being a kid or adult when the situation benefits him. Like, are you crazy? I can't do chores. I have school. And then like, also I can't do chores. I have a job at the same time. Like
I have baseball.
yeah. His shirt is awesome though in this scene.
I did. That's in my notes. I put great Bobby shirt.
It's so good.
I wasn't expecting him to throw a suit jacket on over it, but he does, and it holds up as a look.
It does. And also poor Shelley. I guess it should be said. That sucks for her. She really got this is the shittiest deal. That this whole scheme really fell flat on its face, and it's just all redounding on her or whatever. It's blowing up in her face the most.
Yeah, I love
Having
Bob-
a bad
Go
time.
ahead.
I love the jackass response from Bobby, though, when she's like, "Don't you think I have better things to be doing?" And he's like, "No, no." Awesome.
Not
dude.
even trying to disguise it.
Yeah.
The whole Bobby Shelley arc, I think, is really lovely. Of like, yeah, they have this plan, this sort of scheme, as you said, and it just really, they end up in a sort of deeper drudgery than they started in. Yeah.
It's nothing. It's like, let's just make each of our lives worse. They could have done nothing, and it would have been much better for each of them. Bobby continued to just, like live at home as like a child or whatever, and still like go hang out with his girlfriend if he wants to go date Shelly. And Shelly could have kept her job at the Double R Diner and like continued to and just have like Leo basically taken care of whatever. But they're like, no, let's get in. Let's throw a wrench in the works and just fuck up our lives. Let's just do something.
Let's collect $200 a month.
Yeah.
The summary for the scene ends with Leo drools. In case you wondered what he was up to. James phones Ed and asks that the money from his savings account be sent to him at Wally's Hideout, the bar on the 96.
Any personal finance heads want to chime in and weigh in on James's financial situation here?
Just leave it in the account. I don't.
Yeah, you're losing out on interest on that $12 that might compound over time, right?
What was $12 in 1991?
That's true. Yeah, you could actually buy a house at $12.
It was all Bitcoin. He really
1991.
lost out.
It's
send my
$28.54 today.
Wait, Ed, what are you saying? All my apes gone?
I feel like Ed's support is a little too unconditional here. Like, he's just like, oh yeah, let me wire all your funds to this like Roadhouse 2
Bar.
That seems like the smart move here.
I totally agree. He's so laissez-faire with his his interactions with James and Donna then too, where like later Donna shows up and is like, all right, I'll take the money to this bar by myself, and he's like, okay, and that's just the end of it.
What's the address again? 96.
Oh, whatever. I don't know. I think it was, what was it? It was
A
Wallace's
bar
or
on
something?
96.
Wally's Hideout.
Yeah, but he's just
Sounds
going
like
based on what he remembers.
the place everyone does their banking. Wally. Great name.
Well, I also like the move that James says on the phone too. Though he's like, send it to Wally's hideout, care of me.
Just send it to Wally.
It was really fun,
To have
like-
a little walking around money.
He just wants.
It did feel good to have, like, a moment of, like-
he's putting his whole life savings into the jukebox, playing the Monster Mash on repeat.
It
When I-
was pretty like comforting to watch this like idiot be like, oh, like I want you to wire my savings. I was like, this idiot has savings, and then it was $12. I was like, oh, I don't feel.
Okay. Yeah, it would be kind of funny if he was putting in like advanced market moves, like I don't know, I want you to short IBM or something. He's giving like, yeah, I don't know. That kind of hit my limit on what an advanced market move might sound pretty quick, it turns out.
Evelyn enters the garage and asks if he is homesick. James tells her about Laura and his wanting to run away from Twin Peaks, and Evelyn kisses him. They hear Jeffrey leaving, and she tells James she needs his help. Thoughts on the Evelyn and Jeff situation?
I don't know. We pretty much covered it last week. I guess we're getting additional wrinkles this week, but I want to sensitively compliment Evelyn's sunglasses.
I mean, I want to compliment this. I was thinking about My big thought for this episode was more people should do that when someone's giving, like, I don't know, a monologue, a soliloquy, especially an emotional one. It's awesome for the other observer in the scene to just have massive sunglasses on. I was imagining like the "It's Not Your Fault" scene from Goodwill Hunting, but they have sunglasses on.
And like the Beats by going to.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that? He did say, "Why do you let him hurt you?" Classic line. Sensitive line. Helpful, James. Nice. But then we see the Twin Peaks traffic light. Once again, if I was better at my job here, I'd be I would be tracking this if it's a day or night, or what color it's at, and like sort of paying attention to that sort of thing. But I'm just here to write it down when I'm noticing it.
At 9:25 a.m., Nadine sits next to Mike Nelson at the counter of the Double R. Mike tells her he does not want to know her, but she tells him she wants to go out with him, kisses him, and pushes him off his stool. Norma puts on a coat and leaves after telling a clearly suspicious Hank that she is going to run some errands. Will, I know Nadine's your absolute favorite character. I figured you were loving.
I would hate
this
for
scene.
that to happen to me. No, yeah, she says Mike Nelson is the handsomest boy she's ever known. Pushes him over. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't quite tell. Like, did Mike?
Yeah.
How does Mike feel at the end of that? Is he sort of like, whoa, actually, kind of cool, or is
I
he
was
still
worried
just
that
like,
was what it's gonna be.
yeah, that would be the worrisome direction. But I'd almost, yeah, I don't know if it's like, wow, I just got like overpowered in public here by the crazy lady who definitely needs more help, and nobody's doing anything about it. That could also be what his expression is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he needs to start ordering whole pies. He says he'd like 16 slices of pie. I think the financially prudent decision here is probably just 2 whole pies.
He's
also using that as like a way to like leave me alone. I feel like he could be more direct, instead of like, I want 2 whole pies myself. You could be like, leave me alone.
Yeah, I think he's trying anything at this point, because let's say like, I don't know what's gonna get through to you. Nothing is.
I think that's just how people communicate in Twin Peaks. Everything's sort of expressed through pies.
Via pie.
Yeah. Explaining the economy to somebody from Twin Peaks. Imagine a cherry pie. Okay, and then Elijah, what do you think of the Nadine storyline?
I think I love turbocharged Nadine. I think it's like a fun. So I just watched Opening Night, the John Cassavetes film. So I was thinking about that when watching this. And part of that is about like women and aging. And there's this line I wrote down. Jenna Rowlands' character goes, "I'm an actress, and the play that we're doing right now is about the gradual lessening of my power as a woman as I mature. At some time in life, youth dies, and the second woman in us takes over." So in that film, like it's just about like aging and like beauty and like who you become as you stop being this object of desire. And I feel like Nadine is sort of a very fun inversion of that line of thinking, that she doesn't have sort of the womanly power of desirability, but she has a more direct power that we see exhibited later on in the episode. I think it's a interesting exploration, especially when like in a show that's not in which high school women are involved with men many years their senior. I feel like she's like a sort of funhouse mirror on that whole phenomenon going on at Twin Peaks
absolutely.
High School.
And she's totally she's totally oblivious to how she is perceived in the world, how she's moving through the world too, which I think is an interesting part of her character, which could be part of the, I don't know, maybe is that supposed to be like, oh, because she's so childish, or it's just a mismatch of what's going on with her. But yeah, I think that's a great read of the Nadine character.
I'm gonna have to. Opening night has been on my watch list for a long time, and now I'm gonna have to watch it to get the idea of Gina Rollins as a Nadine character out of my head, because I don't know that much about it. So I'm just imagining she's really strong.
In a way, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Truman visits Josie at Blue Pine Lodge and asks why she is not moving into his place. And Josie says she is safe there and that she is no good for him. Truman kisses her and holds her.
Fucked vibes.
Yeah.
Every time Harry...
He's losing so many points.
Go. What are you saying, Atticus?
Oh, I was agreeing with you. Sorry. He's losing his morality points are just gross behavior.
Yeah. He cannot keep his paws off of Josie. There are a few makeout scenes in this episode, and each of them are played differently. And this one has like ominous music underneath it. This is Harry smothering Josie basically here. He's coming on way too strong. She's like clearly recoiling at his touch. This is gross. And it's sucks for Josie. It seems like she's made the decision that the only safe move for her at this point is to come back and be Catherine's maid, just to like protect her life. And, she does care for Harry at some level, I'm sure, protect his life too. And Harry just is too ready to get all over her at every opportunity. And so, yeah, bad vibes for Josie.
A good microcosm of, self-centeredness of most of the adults in Twin Peaks. Like, you're the sheriff. Your girlfriend has basically become like an indentured servant overnight. And you're like, come on, why aren't you moving into my apartment? I don't care about what's happening. Why are you wearing this costume, this maid costume all the time? I don't care about that. Let's focus back on me.
Mm-hmm.
He's very much like, love conquers all. I think he's really just pushing that line, and it's like, no, Harry, like there's something a little more complex. You can't lover boy your way out of this one. There's international crime syndicates here. Like,
yeah. Also, dog, you're the sheriff, bro. Like, do something.
Audrey watches Ben's secretary run from his office in tears. She enters and finds Ben deep in his reenactment of Gettysburg. She tells him he needs to help and uses the phone to call for her uncle.
So his secretary seemed to have been dressed up as an injured drummer boy. Is that the what the costume was? And Ben has his southern drawl going. It's not whatever. The voice is funny. I don't love the Confederate aspect to this. Zoe reminded me that what's Audrey's brother's name? Is it Johnny Horn?
Yeah.
Okay. Johnny Horn, he's dressed as a Native American all the time, right?
I thought it was like going to be his new tutor or something was like who was crying.
Oh, yeah. We need to check in on what's going on with the rest of the horns. I do think like what's going on with
Horncheck.
But there's maybe some kind of latent genetic condition was Zoe's hypothesis with getting too into a costume that you shouldn't be wearing.
We've remarked on this in the past, but like as these episodes and the Confederate thing goes forward, and he's got more stuff in his office, like I feel like you can forget about it very easily now. 'Cause with the internet, you can just go onto eBay and probably buy a bunch of this stuff now. How did he get all of this stuff so quickly in 1992 or whatever?
He's Mr. Deals, dude. He's still when he's using his powers, like he's no longer focusing on development deals. He's like, let's develop this office into the Gettysburg situation.
Yeah, did he have the figurines? Did he paint them in the midst of the psychotic break?
Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot to pull together.
I feel like he is in 100% on this though. So I think anytime he's not on screen, we can assume he is
his figurines.
Yeah, he is completely dead set on expanding his collection or whatever. Yeah, preparing it.
I do like the tea light campfires. Those are a really nice touch.
Yes, bit of a fire hazard, but I suppose it's not my problem.
My fully wooden hotel, yeah.
Yeah.
Norma visits Ed, and they declare their love for each other with embraces and kisses.
This is a way happier make-out love story situation than anyone else we get in the episode, possibly anyone else in the entire show. But he's they profess their love for each other. Basically, good for them. I think those kids are gonna do all right.
In Truman's office, Hawk tapes a transmitter to Ernie's abdomen. Ernie, visibly nervous, claims he suffers from hyperhidrosis when Hawk complains about Ernie's sweating. Ernie starts to recall Korean War experiences. Cooper makes Ernie review his plan to take Denise to Dead Dog Farm to meet Renault. Truman deputizes Cooper so he can go with them. Cooper pins deputy badge number 13 on as Denise enters, dressed as a man and calling herself Dennis.
Cooper's so happy to be made deputy. He's just beaming. I feel like I love all the like kicked out of FBI hiatus outfits that Cooper has. I feel like he was, he's in a black suit every day, but he's, I guess, slowly been assembling a wardrobe of really nice flannels that he finally gets to show off around the town. But yeah, it's a very, he's just so happy to continue being a part of it.
And you know that if he was given one night's rest to go back to base camp, he would show up with a whole deputy outfit, the way that he does for every other thing. He would show up in like chaps or something. I don't know what it would be, but he is extremely excited to be Deputy 13. Also very much appreciate Denise waiting to make a dramatic entrance. She knows how to wait for the right time there.
The and also, okay.
What?
The process to deputize seems a little lax.
Tossing a badge?
Yeah.
We're on Wood's Law over here. Once again.
The Bookhouse Boys and the Sheriff Department are one and the same.
I don't know. I do think that, like, for somebody who is under multiple concurrent investigations, Cooper might want to consider being a little bit more careful. I don't know how believable his whole line of, like, well, I'm gonna plan all of this and get everything in the right place, and then, like, well, I can't go to it because I'm clear. That would be crossing a line. I think it'd be very tough for him to claim that he's not involved in doing law enforcement or current operations based on what he's doing in this episode. But I'm not his lawyer. Whatever. He answers to a higher power. Whatever.
I want to call something out about Hawk in this scene that is relevant a few scenes from now. It says that Hawk tapes a transmitter to Ernie's abdomen. He tries to tape a transmitter. There are a few shots in here where you see he's very jankily, like, scotch taped the wire to Ernie's metal goldish chain or whatever. I think that could be part of the problem later on. It wasn't good work. Unusually shoddy work from Hawk.
Yeah. I don't think I will. Yeah. You know what? Hawk needs to, I think, probably admit, you can't just say that you tried when it comes, to in this case. Like, I just couldn't get the mic on him, but, like, let's run it anyway. Like, no, we do need to have the mic in place. We need to figure this out.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to just send a guy in, sure, Ernie's the best choice. But
true, yeah.
In normal circumstances, yeah. Wind blows through the trees as Dick and Andy enter the office of Dorrit Home for Boys while everyone is at lunch. Just love to see another couple grown men in Twin Peaks sneaking into a home for boys. Nothing bad is going to happen with that. Dick searches the files and finds the file on Nikki. He starts to
filed
read the
under N.
When your parents die, they take your last name.
He starts to read the file as a couple enter and introduce themselves as the Brunstons, and they've come to see Donnie. Dick tells them little Donnie is not feeling well. He also tells them that he's dead and that he's dead tired and not feeling well.
And Andy, meanwhile, not being suspicious at all. He's so awesome in this scene. When they enter the room, he just, like, looks at him and then he just goes over and stands by Dick. He's the man.
He's just like, Dick,
what do we say, Dick? And yeah, Dick cannot cover for it either. I love these kings. So smooth.
Donna visits Ed and asks about James. Ed tells her about James's phone call and gives her the money to take to the bar on 96. After she leaves, Ed turns to Norma, who kisses him and leaves. Ed closes the door and turns around to see Hank, who begins to beat him. Nadine enters and thoroughly pummels Hank before comforting Ed.
All right. Donna makes use of her 2 seconds of screen time to serve an excellent look here. She's in a good outfit.
This gave me an idea, completely unrelated to the show, but I want to run it by you guys. I have a new evil boss idea in case any of us here ever become an evil boss and you have to go back to an in-person job. I think more people should patronizingly put their hands on their knees and lean into other adults who are shorter than them, like when you talk to a child. And if you ever become an evil boss, or maybe you have an evil boss who you're significantly taller than, try it out. That's actually probably the better way around.
Yeah.
Power move.
Yeah. This is
Lot of
probably a
short-
lot more useful for the rest
there's
of
a lot
you
of-
on the call than me, but yeah.
But a lot of short CEOs out there. Maybe you have a bad client, Will, in the future, something like that. Try it out.
I did try out a little bit doing the remote version where I would position my webcam as low as possible to give myself. I was using the language of cinema to my advantage, trying to imply, imposition on them for a little bit.
I do that. I position it like this for the call. At work, I position it with my eyes off the screen. so you assume I'm so tall. I'm so tall.
I think that
I can't fit.
I think that's the
the language of
Tubin angle.
cinema.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Start doing a Dutch angle to
If you're-
create a sense of unease.
Yeah, yeah. If you're saying something I don't like, I just started slowly rotating. I've got a split diopter on my webcam. Okay, I have to bring this up too. So, Norma leaves, everyone leaves, and then Ed turns around and Hank is there. So Hank has just been there the whole time. He was waiting to get Ed alone. So he's crouching behind the ottoman, listening to Ed bang his wife, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this guy."
And then Donna comes over.
Yeah. Oh. And Nadine beating the piss out of Hank rocks.
It's awesome.
The camera
I
work
think-
very fun throughout that entire scene.
Extremely fun.
Very fun.
Ben's,
Even if the Nadine bit ends here, I'm not gonna tell Will and Atticus because you guys don't know what's gonna happen. Let's say the bit ends here. Worth it. I think it's worth it to have an entire very weird half season of an adult pretending to be a child just so you can have this 15-second scene of her beating up
the
Hank.
payoff is good. Yeah. She was also, we must remember, her strength is not tied to her memory issue here. She was super strong before that, but I don't think she would have maybe. I feel like even pre-incident Nadine would beat up Hank for going after Ed.
This all happens in such quick succession too. Okay, Norma leaves the house. Donna walks up to the door, presumably passes her on the walk, thinking, that's strange. Nadine also shows up basically 30 seconds later, and now two women who aren't married to Ed walked out of Ed's house. Maybe Hank was also hiding in the bushes, popped through a window or something like that.
Yeah, what
just acting normal.
What does Ed's neighbor across the street think of what transpired here in these 2 minutes?
In his office, Ben tells Bobby about a Civil War battle. Audrey opens the door and peeks in as Ben addresses Bobby as General Meade. Bobby says he has to talk to President Lincoln and leaves, which, gotta say, also would be my move as guy who didn't prepare for the Civil War test or whatever at school, trying to recall anyone else who might have been involved in the Civil War.
Is he preparing he's preparing an alternate ending, I believe,
I
right?
think so.
He's doing a bit of a fan fiction as far as who wins the Civil War, right? That's where Ben's angling.
I always took the whole,
If I recall correctly,
the
the
whole
North does win.
Confederate war game arc as, this comes on the after Catherine as a Japanese man sort of tricks him out of all his possessions. So I feel like he, in the real world, he's feeling the walls closing in and sort of looking for like a way to reverse inevitable defeat, and is finding it through the rewriting of the Civil War.
Damn.
That was my read.
That's great. I really like that. That makes it make a lot of sense. Otherwise, damn, he kept me kind of silly today. No, that's really cool.
Our usual read on the show.
Huh.
Damn, that was crazy. I bet it didn't mean anything at all.
I bet those owls are exactly what they seem.
Frantically writing down check-ins to owls right now.
I do feel bad for Bobby. Like you're preparing to become a sort of criminal underling, dipping your toes into the underworld of Twin Peaks, and then your boss is doing Civil War reenactment on the floor of his office. He came in at a really bad time.
Your first opportunity was Leo, and your second one was Civil War era Ben Horn.
Yeah.
Outside, Bobby tells Audrey that Ben has flipped. Audrey says Uncle Jerry will be home on the next plane and Dr. Jacoby will come over tomorrow.
Great.
The two men who can definitely make this a better situation.
Yeah.
As they leave, Catherine enters and goes into Ben's office. Ben tells her to go ahead and gloat, but Catherine says she did not come to gloat, refers to Ben as slimy rat bastard Americanus, do not feed. Then she tells him she wants him and embraces him. You make my body hum, she says. They kiss and hug.
Catherine's coat is a lot. It's I want to shout it out, but it's almost too much, I would say. Catherine is obsessed with making things more complicated than they need to be. She just can't stay away from a ruse or a scheme or like just mixing things up a little bit. She's a woman who needs to be constantly in motion, otherwise she'll drown. And she's a sucker for role play, is what we continue to learn about her.
Yeah, she came
Man
in to
in
yell
uniform,
at
or
him,
being in
but
uniform
she
herself.
saw there was role playing going on. She's like, maybe we're not so different after all.
Yeah.
What's the read? What's the read that we definitely all know and have a read on this? What's the read on Catherine having a, let's say, Native American inspired at the least outfit walking in on this Confederate situation?
I'm timing my drink of water for now.
We can leave that as an exercise to the listener.
That was for the listener to write in, Dr. Skeleton's Art School at gmail.com. But there's a lot of characters who wear Native American inspired clothing in the town of Twin Peaks. I think that it can be, I think a reading of it could be that it is donned casually without thought, as just like an automatic appropriation, the same way there's like, oh yeah, there's like this native art in the hotel that just, it's there as decoration. It's on land and all, and it's, it's seen as nothing. It means no it has zero significance to the character putting it on or whatever, or it's just like, oh, I just kind of like the pattern, or something. But it's obviously a lot more significant for the rest of us. I don't know. How about that? That's something.
Nice. James leads a blindfolded Evelyn to the car and lets her look at it. She says Jeffrey will be home at midnight and they drink champagne. She asks him not to leave. He starts to remove her clothes and presses her onto the fender while he kisses her. Malcolm watches and laughs to himself.
All right. The scene starts really funny. I'll say that.
Yeah.
With James leading Evelyn. He's like, I've got a big surprise for you. And then it turns out to be like the thing he's there to work on. Like,
And I thought he was putting the wheel back on. I didn't think he was rebuilding the engine.
yeah, I guess if he had to rebuild the engine, that is a big deal. Okay, shout out to James. It wasn't just putting the wheel on. But like, you'll never guess where I'm taking you, Evelyn. Oh, it's the car that I've been working on. Sure, okay, yeah. And then his move where he takes the champagne like slowly and like dumps it out and kind of shakes it once and then tosses the wet glasses into the Jag onto the leather seats and then like presses her into the wheel well. Insane move. James
He takes her clothes off in the least sensual way too.
Well, he's even worse. I took a lot of issue. I took a lot of issue with the taking the clothes off because one, isn't that normally that's more of like a bedroom, an inside thing, but like it's cold outside. She had the coat on because it's cold outside. Let me just take you down to your underwear, and then she also has to. He's wearing like the onesie, so she has to zip all the way down, which is awesome.
Really cool. It's not a dolly out, I don't think, but like pull out away, like as the car like recedes further and further and further and further and further, and it's almost like comical how long like that is, and then Mr. Hairdo steps in, Malcolm, and does his devious little look. I wasn't sure what to make of that at the time of the scene. Learn soon enough, but weird guy, that Malcolm.
Crazy outfit.
Truman and Coop.
I just wanted it.
Is he still in his uniform?
Like the
His,
like black
writing uniform?
servant garb with the red piping on it.
Yes.
He looks like he's like in the alternate universe, sort of Star Trek uniforms in the universe where they're evil,
Malcolm, like your boss left. You don't have to wear that.
It's part of my plot.
It's part of my thing.
Yeah.
Truman and Cooper watch Ernie, Jean, Denise, and Officer King through binoculars at Dead Dog Farm, while Hank listens to their conversation over the radio. Ernie rambles about hyperhidrosis and yellow fever as Denise tries to hurry them. King tells Jean that Ernie's shirt is smoking, and Hawk tells Truman and Cooper that the wire's dead. King and Renault emerge using Ernie and Denise as shields. Cooper exchanges himself for the hostages, and Truman tells Hawk to call the state police.
Some great police work happening.
Starting but not ending with their choice of parking spot. They're so conspicuous. They're like right there. It's also in the middle of the day too. It turns into a night raid or whatever to show time that time has passed, but it happening all in the middle of the day does just kind of look funny. Ernie just automatically talking about his sweatiness. It's a childhood condition, is what he said a couple of times.
What is up with King's the Canadian guy, right?
Yes, Preston King.
What's up with that? What's up with that hair dye in 1995? I mean, I guess people did that back then. It's wild though, the bleached hair. Something
he's
about
looking
it.
good.
It's a crazy look to me. It's one of the most evil looks, I think. It's very cool, but it is one of the most evil looks to me.
I have to look this way. It didn't register to me.
Another very conspicuous native inspired jacket on this guy.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'll I want to sensitively compliment him on it. I think he's managing to pull it off pretty well. Outside of the whole, Okay, what?
We'll come back to this scene. I think there's a lot more on it, but for now, at a night under a half moon, Evelyn leaves James's bedroom and meets Malcolm, who asks about their boy. She says he is sound asleep, dreaming of love. Malcolm and Evelyn kiss and embrace, though Evelyn is visibly uneasy.
Then they say lucky boy a bunch.
Gross.
Yeah.
Atticus, do our parents have that exact fox hunting painting in their house? Did that
I don't think I noticed that.
register to you? I texted them to ask, and they've left me on red, as they always do. Stop asking me about fox hunting. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, Evelyn and Malcolm. Nasty.
A lot of people don't like the James season 2 arc. Understandable, but I think I've always enjoyed it as like it just shows that no matter where he goes, he's just sort of like the ultimate mark. He's just, Joe Schmo there and ready to be taken advantage of. I think she even tells him, there's a line earlier of, every time I look at you, I can tell exactly what you're thinking. Yeah, that's just the tragedy of James. No matter how far he runs, he can't escape his own. He's too sincere.
And also, it shows that no matter where he goes, the evil perversity of like domestic violence and fucked up sexual relationships is not just a Twin Peaks Bob thing either. It's not like tied into the spiritual evil or whatever's happening there. This is like it's everywhere. He runs into it well away from Twin Peaks, because doesn't in this episode, like, Evelyn talks to him a little bit about Twin Peaks. He explains lore and all that. The only time anyone has been talking about lore recently is James here, and Evelyn sort of makes it sound like Twin Peaks. That Twin Peaks is so distant, so far away from where they are right now. So presumably, James has ridden far away from the town, and this evil has still found him anyway.
Back at Dead Dog Farm, the state police arrive. Inside, King suggests they deal or run. John asks Cooper if they will deal, and Cooper tells him his only option is to surrender. John debates whether to give up quietly or to kill Cooper. When asked why, John says Twin Peaks was a quiet, innocuous bed of drug dealing before Cooper arrived. His presence threw everything into a nightmare that resulted in both of John's brothers being killed. He tells Cooper that if he should die, quote, maybe the nightmare will die with you. Denise approaches with a tray of food, and John, not recognizing her, decides to let her in. She lifts her skirt to reveal a gun, which Cooper grabs and uses to shoot John as Denise jumps King. Truman and the troopers break for the house as John collapses dead. Denise credits Truman with the idea of her bringing food.
Big scene, layered scene. I think Jean Reno's soliloquy here, or as he addresses Cooper here, is really, really interesting. This simple dream becomes a nightmare. Maybe this nightmare will die with you. is there's this implication that Cooper brings this dreamlike element to the place. Is this somehow tied to Cooper? And Renault's just got a cool villain, I think, generally. And then Cooper shoots to kill and gets him. And that's
Michael Parks. Michael Parks. Okay, we talked about this before. Who's the most famous actor on the show? Might have been him. Like before Twin Peaks, it might have been him.
It's still Kyle MacLachlan.
I think it might have been Michael Parks. Before. He's in a lot
What was he in?
He's in a lot of I should have prepared that part. Foiled at the first question yet again.
Movies, TV show.
Fair. You know what? Okay. Okay, so it was Harry's idea for Denise to come walking in like that? Excuse me, Harry?
Yeah.
Wait, I've got another Harry question. Okay. Not a gun guy. But it seems like Harry's very far away to be shooting like this with a shotgun. Seems like, okay, as not a gun guy, seems like he's doing some
Kind of seems like you're a gun guy, dude.
Sniper style shooting, but he's got a shotgun, right? Did you clock this?
You must be the gun guy because I didn't really notice.
Fine.
You know, if there was another Cooper out there, he'd be in his whole like ghillie suit or whatever. He got the full get up.
It's the whole Dead Dog arc that like Cooper comes under investigation because they're like, quit doing all this cowboy shit. And then his sort of solution on it is to do even more cowboy shit. He can't, his first day as a deputy, and he's like, we as the sheriff's department of Twin Peaks should do our own little drug sting. Did the state police even know until they had to call him in? Unclear. So it's
definitely not. There's no way they knew. And also, yeah, Cooper he like takes the negotiation into his own hands instantly too, with no conference with the rest of the officers there either. He's just like, you know what? I got this.
Ernie
You'll
the
take
entire
me.
time says he doesn't want to participate. That feels significant.
You seem to be participating quite a lot for someone who doesn't want to participate there, Coop.
They exclusively called in the state police to just be like, we don't need you, but get a load of what we're about to do. This is gonna be fucking awesome.
Yo, check this shit out, dude.
If you guys still have the cops crew with you, you're gonna want to come down for this.
How did they source?
It is funny though.
Denise's waitress outfit. I guess they had a lot of time,
right,
in between, but that's what I was wondering.
This is headcanon here. I think it was in Harry's trunk. I think he's a bit of a freak on his own. But I think he's had some ideas.
Cooper's been a costume man too, Mm-hmm. It could have been in his little trunk of costumes as well.
Sure. I think I do like the idea of Denise as a bit of like the Mask character, who can kind of like walk into a situation like that and have everybody be like, ooh, pizza time. I'm excited for this. And then, I don't know. They like fire bullets at her and then she just like spits them all out or something.
That seems like first rule of being a bad guy though, Don't fall for the old sexy pizza delivery trick.
Yeah, you'd think if Yoo-Hoo Boys was one of Jean Reno's weaknesses, he would have succumbed to it earlier than this. Yeah.
Definitely.
A record player plays Shelley's house as the lights dim. What? This sentence doesn't make sense. A record player plays Shelley's house as the lights dim and
Probably
Shelley
in her
wakes
house.
up. In her house? Okay, whatever. Yeah. She gets off the couch to look for Bobby. She finds a clown doll on the pillow of Leo's empty bed. The lights dim again, and she sees Leo standing wearing a party hat. He says, Shelley, and she screams. The lights go out. It's very anticlimactic to read it that way, but a
A
pretty
very scary scene.
cool, scary scene, yeah.
Yeah. Y'all got the clown doll already? I don't like that. We get a lot of electricity stuff happening. I think that's interesting, and it just lends itself to or suggests some very cool opportunities for sound design with the record player spinning down and back up. That's just a classic move, and I'm thinking Leo could have been moving for a while now, and he's just timed this to be. Well, I guess I don't know. I want to connect it with the outage, but I want to connect it with the he's seeing the deterioration of Bobby and Shelley's situation now. Now it's time when like, oh, Shelley's at her most vulnerable again, that he can stand up and take advantage of that. But it's
Everyone thinks
terrifying
that-
nonetheless.
Everyone thinks that Leo's a dullard, but maybe he's, quite a theatrical guy. It's like
He did grab the hat.
he could have taken the hat off or wiped his face, but instead he was like, "Oh, Shelley, I'm a spooky clown."
Yep. He made some choices. Like, yeah, you get to
Made
pick.
some choices.
Yeah, I mean, we get to people get to choose how they present themselves to the scene several times in this episode, and Leo makes his decisions this way.
He's been cogent for weeks. He's just been looking for the right clown doll to set on
Yeah.
the chair.
Just sneaking out a little bit, returning. Needs to be scarier.
I appreciate everyone in Twin Peaks has really similar music taste, and it's all sort of haunted Americana rock. That's when they're just hanging out listening to music. That's what they're listening to. Luckily, they had it at the jukebox that James went to up the road.
Mhm. Man, I'm looking forward to the return. Hopefully, there's like the slowed and reverbed versions of tracks.
Nightcore.
Do any of you get into that stuff? That's kind of like a when someone takes like a popular track and just like slows it down by like 8,000% or whatever, and it's just this like droning reverb drenched thing. It's kind of cool.
You are gonna love. I think we've told you this before, but you're gonna love the return. You're gonna love Firewalk with Me when it comes to the music, I think.
Oh, really? Great.
Yeah. Outside the darkened sheriff's station, Truman asks Lucy about a bomb report. Lucy tells him there was a voice on the phone that said there was a bomb planted in the woods. There was a huge explosion and the lights went out. Lucy called the fire department. There were 2 fires, one being at the power station. Hawk goes to check the generator. Cooper enters the station and calls to Harry from his office. Harry enters and sees a body with long hair tied to a chair with one hand pointing to a chessboard. Cooper says it is Wyndham Earl's next move.
I don't think I'm venturing too far out over my skis to suggest that something might be happening here.
I was gonna say it's more than a chess move; it's also a body.
There's also a body. I think in the scary movie adaptation of this, they find the body tied to the chair in like the Gen X crotch chop position. They're like, what? What's this supposed to be? No, I think there's something going on in like the woods. I think something big is happening. I think that there's something to do with this power outage, this fire in the woods, to tie it back to the Log Lady's intro.
I think another case of me realizing I'm not cut out to be yet another character in Twin Peaks, a sheriff, bomb squad detective, whatever, even Lucy. If somebody calls me up and they're like, I've planted a bomb and it's in the woods, you think, whew, lucky, lucky.
Oh, okay. Well, that could be a lot worse, I think. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yeah.
What do we clock the chess move? Didn't we see like if there's a piece on the board? Are they doing the pervert's gambit or what?
I did look this up. I spent a little time actually doing research this time, and it sounds like this is one of, sorry to ruin it for people, this is one of the biggest inconsistencies in the show, or like plot holes, whatever. Because it sounds like the pieces move over the course of the season, like in ways that aren't described. Like other pieces on the board are in different places than has been, mentioned in the progress of the game. And it sounds like there are pieces in places that shouldn't be possible for this stage of the chess game as well. Which is a little sad.
They're just playing the version of chess that Elon Musk prefers, right?
Fog of War.
Where the
There's
fog of war. Yes. With more dimensions moving around.
It's chess, but you don't have to take turns. You can just move as fast as possible.
They're calling it selfish chess. All right. We've reached the end of episode 20 here. This was a great season 2 episode. I think it had the right balance of goofy and interesting stuff moving along. The vibes I noticed have not been cozy for a long time. I think I still think of Twin Peaks as a kind of cozy show or a cozy place to some extent. And I think that pretty much, maybe I'm just thinking of like, you can't even say like the pilot or something, because like it starts out with the murder. But
the intro theme, some good vibes.
The intro theme, yeah, that's maybe what I'm thinking of. But I think even like into season 2, we keep peeling back. There's less and less effort dedicated to like, isn't this sort of like an idyllic scene or environment to some extent? James is the only one thinking about Laura still at this point. I was thinking a little bit this week too. What are some media properties that are maybe like the heir to Twin Peaks, or it's maybe the wrong thing to say, but I was thinking about how The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is thematically connected here, and I think that there's some interesting like political evils sublimated into sexual depravity that manifests themselves in a particular environment, like physical environment, with the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo books. But also Riverdale is another it's kind of Twin Peaks. I mean, it's very Twin Peaksy. But people might not be ready to admit that.
I'm a big
it's operating
Riverdale
at that
defender,
level.
so
Are you? Nice.
I draw that connection easily. I feel like True Detective also, obviously, like on the surface, but I feel like on the level of like the environment as a sort of entity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the woods and the swamps as sort of characters in their own right comes through in both shows.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch the 4th season of that? The
I
Jodie
did not.
Foster season?
I really only liked the first season. Some people have said the second is their
Come to the
favorite.
wrong podcast, hombre. Season 2. We're big season 2 defenders here.
That's fair. I feel like it lost. I feel like Louisiana is really present in a way that I'm less interested when it's California. But
yeah, I mean, I think you have to dig a lot deeper to defend season 2. I'm just willing to do that. But like, yeah, I think that like the season 2 is very much too just like the David Lynch season that like where I'm gonna they're in a like more naked way that they're just gonna try to do David Lynch stuff. Atticus, Ben, any suggestions on heirs to Twin Peaks? I don't. What am I trying to ask here? Like the similar vibes or things that have been inspired by it, things that scratch the similar itches, maybe.
I don't know. I'm at a loss today, especially on the series front, since I don't watch a lot.
I feel like True Detective is a good parallel.
All right, let's move into superlatives, gang. Do we have anything we want to shout out for wool or outfit of the episode?
Obviously, Dick.
Yeah, his Inspector Gadget get up.
The genuine answer is Donna, but it's not that interesting. But it looks good.
Yeah, we're looking for genuine answers. Yeah. I really like Denise's dress at the beginning. There's not like a standout like piece of wool that I'm like super thrilled about, as I am sometimes. So, nope.
I think
whatever.
Ben mentioned it, but Lucy's cardigan.
Lucy's cardigan,
I think
good.
is
yeah
pretty good.
All right. Standout performance of the episode. Elijah, I think the reason for your presence here today, Don Davis, does some incredible work here at the beginning of the show that can't go unremarked upon here in this segment.
I think the Jean Reno bit at the end also really good. Just sort of throwing it back in Cooper's face a bit of like, maybe you brought a little evil here, man.
Yeah.
A great way to go out.
yeah. I mean, like, I think that there's something to it with the obvious caveat that like he was dealing drugs and like trafficking girls there already. Like there was plenty of evil there, but maybe there's a new type of evil that Cooper has brought. I don't know. Ratings. We will rate each episode out of 5 here at the end, and Elijah, as our guest, will allow you to go first. What do you think?
I'd say a strong 3. Outside of Don Davis, I don't know. It's a sort of plot wise. I guess you have the drug raid, but in the larger arc of the show, I feel like we're sort of in between things. It seems like a lot of stuff. You know, we sort of dealt with Laura Palmer, Leland Palmer a few episodes ago, and it's just sort of not much happened at the end of the day.
Yeah, we're in a little bit of a holding pattern or something here with the season 2. I think people describe it as the doldrums.
Yeah, that's it.
Or like the slump of season 2. And I think last week's episode was supposed to be the worst of it, like the absolute bottom of it. And again, I still had a pretty good time with the episode last week, and I had an even better time with the episode this week. And I think that it did strike a balance of goofy and interesting things going on. I think that it was actually pretty locked in thematically and tonally throughout. And there's some really interesting formal moments or whatever, like just like the beginning collage type effect with Major Briggs, and then also like there's some interesting camera movements throughout, especially at the marshes. And so for a season 2 episode, I'm gonna give it a 4.
It's a strong 3 for me. It's still, it's good for where we are in the season.
I'm going to give it a potentially cowardly and unpopular 2.5.
2.5, you say?
Yeah.
You rat bastard Americanus.
Bringing fractions into it.
That's the cowardly part.
No, that's fine. Folks, write in if you'd like to tell us about the doldrums. Is the whole season 2 doldrums narrative overblown? What do you think about this slump that we may or may not be in? I was preparing, but when I reached out to you, Elijah, I was thinking like, oh man, I hear this just falls off a cliff. That we're gonna need to get folks in here to just chat to us, just to like, so we have something to talk about. And like that is, I mean, thrilled to have you here, and also thrilled to have like plenty to dig into as well. It is not the case that like this is just like a nothing episode. We could have used this in a few of the lost episodes. I gotta say. Check us out over on patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Write into drskeletonsartschool@gmail.com. Elijah, thank you for joining us. Do you have anything you'd like to plug? Do you have any projects that you'd like to direct people's attention to?
Nothing at the moment.
All right. Folks, thanks for listening to the show. Next week, join us for season 2, episode 14, aka episode 21. We'll see you there. This is a brand new Extra Good podcast. Learn more at brandnewextragood.com.